Welcome to Bubble Book Club. If you, like me, consider books your home, then you'll fit right in. I started this book club to encourage reading and to connect with people who share my love for books. So if you are someone who loves reading, or you want to improve your writing skills, or even if you are only looking to inculcate a reading habit, then this is definitely a place for you. All we need is your willingness to read. We read mainly one work of fiction and some poetry pieces every month. So, if you want to read with us, find the link in the description box below. Hello everyone, this is me, Bulbul, a writer and a blogger, and I love reading stories. Well, I now write them too. I've written for various magazines, and if you want, you can read my work on my blog. For January 2021, we read Pride and Prejudice, a legendary piece of work by Jane Austen. In my opinion, it would be a shame really to have a book club and not read this literary masterpiece. So today, we are going to discuss Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. In this video, we'll start by learning about the characters and the plot in brief. Then I'll try and discuss some of the important points and themes from the book which intrigued me, and at last we'll take a look at some of my favorite screen adaptations and quotes from the book. Come, let's begin. So as we all know that Pride and Prejudice was written by Jane Austen, it was published in the year 1813, which means that this work is more than 200 years old in the present date. It's astonishing really how its charm never gets old. The narrating character of the novel is Miss Elizabeth Bennet. It's through her eyes that we see the story. This classic piece of literature, like all other works by Miss Austen, deals with the society of Britain at that time, that is around 19th century. And it clearly depicts the position women had in that era. The major themes in the book which strike the readers at first are marriage, class, money, and how these things have a very significant impact on the romantic relationships of the characters. The lead protagonists in the book are Miss Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy, and there's a second pair as well of Miss Jane Bennet, she's the eldest of the Bennet sisters, and Mr. Bingley. Then we have Lydia Bennet, she's the youngest of the Bennet sisters. Mr. Wickham, he's in the military. His father used to work for Mr. Darcy's father. Then we have Mr. and Mrs. Bennet, they're the parents of 5 Bennet sisters. Then we have Mr. Collins. Mr. Collins is a cousin to Mr. Bennet. Apart from these major characters, we have some minor characters as well. They are Mr. and Mrs. Gardiner. Mr. and Mrs. Gardiner are relatives to Mr. Bennet and his family. Lady Catherine, she is aunt of Mr. Darcy. Charlotte Lucas, she is the friend of Miss Elizabeth Bennet. Georgiana Darcy, she is the younger sister of Mr. Darcy. Then we have Mary and Catherine Bennet. They are the younger sister of the 5 Bennet sisters. Mary is the 3rd and Catherine is the 4th. Then we have Mr. and Mrs. Hurst. Mrs. Hurst is the elder sister of Mr. Bingley. Then we have Colonel Fitzwilliam. Colonel Fitzwilliam is cousin to Mr. Darcy and shares Georgiana's guardianship. And then at last we have Miss Bingley. Miss Bingley is the younger sister to Mr. Bingley. So these are the major and minor characters which you'll come across in the book. Then, this map perfectly summarizes the relationships between the characters throughout the entire plot. Mr. and Mrs. Bennet with their 5 daughters, that is Jane, Elizabeth, Mary, Kitty and Lydia, live in Longbourn Village in rural England. As Mr. Bennet's house is entailed, which means upon his death it will be inherited by his cousin, Mr. Collins, because Mr. Bennet doesn't have a son. Due to this, Mrs. Bennet is desperate to get her daughters married off to rich bachelors ASAP for their social security. You can't really blame her for that. The story begins when a rich bachelor, Mr. Bingley, with his two sisters and an even richer friend, Mr. Darcy, moves into a nearby estate of Netherfield. As the plot progresses, Jane and Bingley develop romantic feelings for each other, and Elizabeth develops a dislike for Mr. Darcy. In the meantime, Mr. Collins proposes to Elizabeth and she rejects him. This opportunity is seized by her friend, Miss Lucas, and she marries Mr. Collins. Mr. Wickham also enters the storyline, and Elizabeth takes a slight fancy to him. But just when Mrs. Bennet is expecting Mr. Bingley to propose to Jane, he, along with his sisters, move away to London. You can only imagine her state at this point. Jane is left heartbroken. Later on, when Elizabeth is visiting her friend Charlotte, Mr. Darcy proposes to her, but ends up insulting her and her family in the process. Talk about putting one's foot in his mouth. And obviously Elizabeth rejects him and gives him a piece of her mind. She blames him for breaking Jane's heart and also for cheating Mr. Wickham. Long story short, Mr. Darcy does everything in his power to mend his fault. He reunites Jane with Mr. Bingley, pays Wickham to marry Lydia, and even stands up in front of his aunt, and thus manages to win our Lizzie's heart in the end. I will not go into too much detail with the plot summary because I strongly feel that you should read this book at least once if you haven't already. So let's start with the book discussion. Before starting it, I would like to state that all the views and opinions discussed in this video are strictly my own, and you don't have to agree with them. I would love to read your views on the subject, and you can share them in the comments below. In this video, I'll focus on these themes in reference to the books: marriage, social critique, which Jane Austen offers in the book, then role of gender and class in the plot development, then prejudices. Now we can't ignore this one, can we? Then parallel protagonists, and at last we'll look at men and women characters, that is, how they are written in this book. Even if the book on the surface depicts the genteel life of England, but the motive force is a desperate manhunt for social survival. Marriage is the one thing that is in constant focus of the entire plot. The very first sentence of the book, quote unquote, "It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife." This sentence is ironical, sarcastical, and satirical, all rolled into one. It is a brilliant and one of the most famous opening sentences from the literary history. This sentence successfully manages to set the tone for the entire narrative right at the beginning. And we can imagine the position the marriage holds in the society at that time, especially for women. The position that marriage holds is also clearly depicted when, quote unquote, Lydia with anxious parade walks up to her mother's right hand and hear her say to her elder sister, "Ah, Jane, I take your place now and you must go lower because I'm a married woman." With that, you can clearly make out the position the marriage holds in the society for women is huge. Even with that, Austen's work offers a constant critique for marriage done solely for the reason of social comfort. And even though at the end both Elizabeth and Jane do end up marrying socially up, I don't think it undermines the critique, because firstly, they don't just marry for the social position. Love is a constant factor. And even though I'm sure that social security is also a factor in their decision making, but it is solely not just that. Secondly, I think due to Miss Austen's writing style, the happy endings were meant to be made ironically. Because why not? What do you think about it? Please tell me your views in the comment section. One of the reasons why I love reading Pride and Prejudice is the constant ironic critique of morality and society that Miss Austen generously offers. She does this through Lizzie's wit and through Mr. Bennet's apathetic dialogues. There are numerous instances in the story where the author's on-point use of subtle irony makes the entire narrative entertaining and worth reading again and again. One such instance is when, it is also one of my favorites, when Mr. Bennet, after learning about Jane's heartbreak, says to Lizzie in a passive-aggressive, fatherly way, quote, "Next to being married, a girl likes to be crossed a little in love now and then. It is something to think of, and it gives her a sort of distinction among her companions. When is your turn to come? You will hardly bear to be long outdone by Jane. Now is your time. Here are officers enough in Meryton to disappoint all the young ladies in the country. Let Wickham be your man. He is a pleasant fellow and would jilt you creditably." Unquote. I am sure you can find many other instances in the book. I would love to know your favorite one. Another theme, other than marriage, which is most important in the book, is the social position and gender. Both class hierarchy and gender play a very significant role in the plot development. Because I think that if we overturn the social position for an instance, that is Mr. Bennet is the rich one and Mr. Bingley is not, then I don't think that Mrs. Bennet would have been open to the idea of Jane marrying Mr. Bingley. This is also supported by the fact that when later on she learns about Mr. Darcy's proposal to Elizabeth, she is extremely happy, despite of the fact that she didn't like him at all from the beginning. But just because he's a man with resources, just because he's filthy rich, she's ecstatic to have him as her son-in-law. Gender is also a great determiner in the plot, because the happy endings wouldn't have been that happy if Jane and Lizzie would have been men with not much to offer to the rich females. What do you think in this regard? Has this changed much in our time? Interestingly, the book was earlier titled First Impressions, and later on it was changed to Pride and Prejudice. Well, that was a wise move. As the book title is Pride and Prejudice, we can only expect it to have prejudices as its central theme. Through the entire story, the author conveys a very strong lesson about the problems associated with hastily formed first impressions. Both the protagonists, Lizzie and Mr. Darcy, in the course of the storyline undergo emotional growth after realizing their follies. They, with the help of other characters, realize their faults and self-assess their position, which ultimately leads to their reconciliation. Well, this is one of the questions which bugs me the most. What do you think? Do you think that Darcy and Elizabeth are main protagonists for the plot development? Or do you think that Bingley and Jane are parallel protagonists in this novel? Frankly, I feel that Jane and Bingley are indeed the parallel protagonists in the novel. As much as I love Elizabeth and Darcy, even then, it is due to the love interest of Mr. Bingley and Jane that Darcy and Lizzie are able to come together at many times. Be it in the starting, when Lizzie visits sick Jane, or towards the end, when Mr. Darcy has no other apparent reason to visit Mr. Bennet's family other than accompanying Mr. Bingley. And if it weren't for Jane and Bingley's relationship, I feel that the plot would have moved in a totally different direction, and Mr. Darcy and Lizzie wouldn't have had a chance to come together, let alone fall in love. What do you think about it? Please tell me in the comments below. Now wait. Before all the males listening to this get offended by this poorly phrased question, let me clear it a bit. What I mean by men versus women characters is in reference to the book. Do you think that women characters of Miss Austen's book, that is Pride and Prejudice, are written more real than the men ones? Well, according to me, I feel that due to the author being a woman herself, she has done more justice to the women characters in this book. But wait, by saying this, I don't mean to imply at all that women writers can't do justice with the main characters. Well, J.K. Rowling became a billionaire with Harry Potter, so I'm not implying this at all. In this case, maybe it is by choice of the author that she wanted to focus more on female characters, or it may be also because of the fact that our narrator is Lizzie, and she is only close to one male character, that is Mr. Bennet, her father. Well, whatever may be the reason, I feel so because like the side characters, like Mrs. Bennet or Lady Charlotte, or even Lydia for that matter, I feel that these are better written than Bingley or even Darcy. By better written, I mean that we can complete their sentences. We know these characters so well that in any situation we know exactly what Lydia would do in such a situation, what Mrs. Bennet would do, or Lady Charlotte. So we know these characters very well. But when it comes to Mr. Bingley, or even Mr. Darcy for that matter, we practically know nothing about it. We practically know nothing about them. In case of Bingley, all that we know that he loves Jane and can be easily influenced by his friend's opinion. And even in Mr. Darcy, he is almost a mystery to me, which makes me want to read this book from his perspective very much. So what do you guys think? Do you want to read this book, Pride and Prejudice, from Mr. Darcy's perspective as well? Please tell me in the comments below. Oops, I think earlier I repeatedly said Lady Charlotte instead of Lady Catherine. Sorry for the confusion, guys. I meant Lady Catherine, who is the aunt of Mr. Darcy. Anyways, well, this is all that I had in mind. Please tell me if there are other points which you feel are interesting that I didn't talk about. Moving on to the adaptations. I'm pretty sure that looking at the pics used in this video, you guys must have already guessed which versions are my favorite ones. Well, still, let's look at them. Over the period of time, there have been many screen adaptations of this work, to the point that it has become a cliche in Hollywood of a female protagonist hating the male protagonist in the beginning of the storyline. Anyway, despite of the numerous versions of the story, the ones which are my favorite are the 1995 BBC miniseries version and the 2005 movie starring Keira Knightley and Matthew McFadden. Both of these have their plus and minus points. Since 1995 miniseries has much more time to explore the story as it is a miniseries, so it is a more close representation. But the 2005 version is not something that you can afford to miss if you are a Pride and Prejudice fan like me. So personally, I enjoy them both, and you should watch them ASAP if you haven't already. Tell me which is your favorite adaptation and why. Talking about the quotes from the book, I feel that there are a number of dialogues in the book which are quotable. The first sentence is a universally favorite one. Also, I like this one when Mary says, quote, "Vanity and pride are different things. Though the words are often used synonymously, pride relates more to our opinion of ourselves, vanity to what we would have others think of us." Unquote. But the one which is my favorite is Lizzie's dialogue when she replies to Mr. Darcy when playing the piano. Quote, "There is a stubbornness about me that never can bear to be frightened at the will of others. My courage always rises at every attempt to intimidate me." And unquote. Which one is your favorite? Please share in the comment section below. So this is it, guys, for today. If you want to read at least one book every month with me, join us. The link is in the description box below. And to not miss any update about the book club and to also interact with the members and me and discuss the book that we read, follow me at Instagram at ASIsWriting and the custom tag Bubble Club. Remember, Bubble is double B. So thank you everyone. Thank you for bearing with me all this while. If you liked it, you can please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.